land out here in the desert. Kelley Bydlon, it's great to have Kelley back behind the glass. We're talking about Derek Carr during the break, and he's like, did I miss something? He's away for Christmas break and the New Year and the whole. Yeah, dude, you missed a little bit on Derek Carr, Kelley.
I saw he got benched. Understandable. Your team's out of it. Whatever.
Yeah, but you get benched. Like, Derek Carr is the ultimate team guy. Like, he's the guy, man. If something happens, and I'm gonna be there for my teammates. And then, okay, Kelley's point, yeah, he gets benched. That happens. Well, you know what normally doesn't happen? Oh, you bench me? I'm taking a sabbatical from the team. I will be leaving the premises. I won't be at the facility. I won't be at the games. I'm not backing up Jared Stidham. So good luck, Jared. You're on your own, kid. I'm gone. So this leads to what we do in our business, speculation. What's going to happen to Derek Carr? If you saw Davante Adams before the game, by the way, against the Niners, Davante was questioning, why am I here? Well, what's going on here? We saw Josh Jacobs. By the way, his contract is not necessarily going to be renewed. They got to do a new one because they didn't pick up the fifth-year option. That seems like a mistake now by the front office. So they get a lot of guys. And I'm not talking about guys. I'm talking about Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Davante Adams, the three key cogs of your offense going, what the hell is going on out here in the desert? So the speculation immediately says that Derek Carr, he gone, and he's not coming back to the desert. So there are odds out there in the land of where we work that say where will Derek Carr wind up next season. Now, isn't it ironic that the overwhelming favorite, if you will, that was Alanis Morissette, by the way.
Don't you think?
That the Colts are plus 275. Isn't that ironic? That the Colts might go the same route that they always seem to go, i.e., what's Derek Carr, 10-year veteran? He's no spring chicken.
Yeah.
Let's go with the veteran guy because that's worked out really well for the Colts. We're on the third iteration.
Can't do it anymore.
So you're telling me the Colts at plus 275, Kelley, in them all. You can't take that bet because Colts fans are going to go, we've done this year in and year out. We've gone Phillip Rivers. We've gone Carson Wentz. We've gone Matty Ice. None of it's working. We're going to do the same formula and go get Derek Carr.
Dave, just like I was the guy that was Vikings every year, and it hasn't worked up until this year, I've also been that guy every year that's been like, the Colts, they're making the right decision this year. And I said that with Matt Ryan, and I was dead wrong. This organization cannot keep doing this.
That's the small betting favorite, them all plus 275, that Derek Carr ends up in Indianapolis.
Where's the Raiders on that list?
30-1. Reminder, he just signed a 3-year, $121.5 million contract extension, in April. And, they signed this wide receiver that he used to play with.
Fresno State?
Yeah, I think in college, Davante Adams.
Counselor, would you...
30-1 really jumped out to me. Let me put it that way.
Well, Counselor, would you like to approach the bench and make your case?
Well, first of all, it's a $5 million dead cap hit if you release him after the Super Bowl. Next year, he's $29 million against the cap. Look, Jared Stidham played well against the 49ers, but Sanford, I don't put stock in how teams play. Like Minnesota got absolutely dusted up at Lambeau. I don't look at that game as anything because when you've got certain things wrapped up, even though you could potentially leap up to one, what have you, just doesn't seem like the effort is the same. My question to you is, though, who is the replacement for this quarterback situation in Vegas? Is it Jared Stidham? Are you going to be able to convince Davante Adams not to sit there and hold out if it's Jared Stidham?
Well, see, Kelley doesn't read into as much as I read into this. I think he's gone. I think this is a clear demarcation line between he and Josh McDaniels, right? That it can't be bridged. Now, we did see a similar situation with Kevin Durant in the offseason where he said, hey, I want Steve Nash gone. I want the GM gone. I want everybody gone. And if they're not gone, I'm gone. Well, he wasn't gone. And he came back. And matter of fact, you could have cashed some tickets because the overwhelming consensus was Kevin Durant's gone.
I just didn't think – I thought Sean Marks was smart enough not to trade him because you're never going to get the return value on Kevin Durant. So that's why I didn't think they'd make that move. The NFL is different. You'd have to release the player. But here's the question. This was a friend of mine always used to bring, Calvin Watkins we have on the show. I always used to say, well, you got to get somebody to replace Tony Romo. He goes, fine. He goes, who's your replacement? And I didn't have somebody. And that's the same point I make here. You replace Derek Carr. Who's your replacement? Are you going through with Jared Stidham against Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes? Oh, he's probably better than Russell Wilson right now.
Yes, he is. But we talk about this all the time, right? How many and how few good quarterbacks there are in the NFL, right? And I'm not saying Derek Carr
he's a good quarterback.
Belongs in that group, but he definitely doesn't belong in the group of he's a one-year starter. Let's move on after
No
this
doubt.
year. So I'm with them all. Where the heck are the Raiders turning to?
Well, here's what I think they're doing, boys, is they're going to say, Josh McDaniels, I am running the show now. And this is a power play. Derek Carr was not my guy. I inherited Derek Carr. He was here before I got here. Now I get here, I kick the tires on Derek Carr. It ain't going to work with what I want to do. So, Derek Carr, your services are no longer needed in the desert. I'll draft my kid. Now, that's a lot of capital that Mark Davis in the front office has to say, we believe in you, Josh McDaniels, to get this right. We've talked about it, boys. This is a great, we think it's going to be a great quarterback draft. Kenny Pickett was the only first-round quarterback drafted last year, 20th overall. Looks like Pittsburgh got that right now in the short term. The Raiders are a non-playoff team, so we already know the pecking order where they're going to be. Look, we've talked about it. Like, if you're the number one pick, and then Josh McDaniels gets jumpy, I really like a C.J. Stroud. I really like a Bryce Young. I really like a Will Levis. Who knows? There could be a lot of movement for teams that are in the teens that need a quarterback and think that they won't be there when they draft.
Houston is not going to move from the one spot. They can't, because they need to sell tickets and get people back in there and get a franchise quarterback. You've gone 3 straight years now. Watson didn't play the last couple of years. And then you've got a situation with Davis Mills and Kyle Allen. You're not winning with those guys.
Right.
You've got to take a quarterback. There's more value in taking the quarterback that can help your franchise than getting 3 first-round picks if he's the right guy.
I agree that they would take one, but they got collateral. They've got you right now if you're a team looking to jump up. And I'm not saying that's exactly what the Raiders are going to do. I don't think this is an audition for Jarrett Stidham. I think this is a way to say, is Jarrett Stidham my backup? Like, I
would agree with you.
Like that's the way it feels to me. And I think he's proving that. One showing against the Niners, his first career start. I think he set a Raiders record for a first start. Like, he showed some wares that, like, I'm an NFL quarterback. Am I a starting quarterback? Probably not. But at least I'm a backup. So the Colts are the short favorite. I'm with Kelley in this. I don't know how you keep doing the same model, but Derek Carr is an upgrade. There's no other way around that. And he'd be an upgrade in New York with the Jets or Jersey.
I mean, that's the team.
The Jets are the team. I agree with you.
Yeah, that's
At 4-1?
the team. If they should be tripping over themselves to try to sign someone like Derek Carr.
But don't you think that Jimmy G plays into the Jets because of Robert Saleh and his relationship with Jimmy in their Niner days?
Okay, quick question. Who's a better quarterback, Derek Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo?
I'd rather have Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
And I like Jimmy G.
I think we're all on board on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Now, we don't know if Robert Saleh is, though, because of, sometimes you get these personal vibes and they mess up your judgment a little bit, but I think the three of us believe that Derek Carr is better than Jimmy G.
The only issue I'd have with Derek Carr going to the Jets, and I would not bet the Colts, but to me, the Jets, the Titans, and Patriots all look more interesting. The Commanders.
The Patriots.
Look, Mac Jones isn't the guy, and Michael Lombardi made a great point. He goes, the offensive line play is inconsistent. To me, though, I look at the Jets, the Titans, the Pats, and the Commanders. If they all bring him in, I think they all of a sudden become contenders within their respective divisions.
Wow.
Because you've got players on the perimeter that can make plays for you. Maybe not as much with Tennessee, but you've got the running game. Mm-hmm. I look at Washington. If I'm a quarterback, I want to go to Washington. Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel,
and defense.
And Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, you got talent. Young talent.
You got good young players there. Samuel's what, 6th year? Terry McLaurin, 4th year. Jahan Dotson's a rookie. I mean, you got big-time guys there. I think they can win right there. Brian Robinson's looking like an absolute stud at running back. Give him an entire season where he's not recovering from an off-field shooting. I mean, this guy looks like he's going to be an absolute dude. I like Washington. The Jets, I still think with that defense, you got a young Garrett Wilson. You've got some other receivers there that are pretty solid. I like that team.
I got to tell you something, guys. Back in my DC days, we had him on the program yesterday, Lorenzo Alexander, the one-man gang, right? Mm-hmm. And Zoe and I were in DC together, and we were wrapping up a show. And I'm saying goodbye to him because he's just signed a new deal with the Arizona Cardinals at the time. And he's leaving DC after a double-decade year career in DC. And I said, man, you don't have a quarterback. And he goes, what are you talking about? And I go, well, yeah. You got Carson Palmer,
yeah.
right? You retread. And he goes, no, we're excited. Veterans like to play with veterans. They don't necessarily want to wait for the kids to get up to speed. So whoever gets a Derek Carr, the veterans in that locker room are going to be excited about that. We might not be excited. The fan bases might not be excited. Prognosticators, but the players normally get excited about veterans because they know they can play.
Right now in the NFL, there's no mid-'90s Cowboys. There's no 2007 Patriots. I think a guy like Carr goes somewhere. They all of a sudden have an impact on some of the teams we talked about.
I wonder if it could be a Carson Palmer situation again, all the way to an NFC title game when he was there in the desert.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.